Welcome to our channel.
Hey there.
Today we're diving into a topic many of us deal with but rarely talk about: setting boundaries with toxic family members. It's tough, right? You love them, but sometimes their behavior can drain you emotionally, mentally, even physically. Well, let's make this a little easier. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set firm, healthy boundaries without feeling guilty. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Family relationships can be complicated. But guess what? Research shows that establishing boundaries isn't just good for your mental health, it's essential. A study by Dr. Henry Cloud found that people who set clear boundaries in their relationships report significantly higher levels of happiness and self-esteem. Boundaries aren't walls to push people away. They're meant to protect you. And yes, even with family members.
So, how do you start?
Step 1. Recognize toxic behavior. Is there constant criticism, manipulation, or control? Sometimes it's subtle, like guilt-tripping or emotional blackmail. Toxic family members might not even realize they're overstepping, but that doesn't mean you should ignore it. A survey conducted by the National Alliance on Mental Illness found that nearly 65% of people experiencing family-related stress felt overwhelmed, especially because they didn't know how to set boundaries. Step 2. Communicate clearly and firmly. No mixed messages, no beating around the bush. Instead of saying, "You're always invading my space," try, "I need some time alone to recharge. Let's catch up later." Be direct but kind. According to research by Dr. Gottman, clear communication reduces conflict by 30%. When you're direct, it leaves less room for misunderstandings, which often fuel toxic dynamics. Now, step 3 is crucial. Set consequences and stick to them. Let's say your toxic family member continues to overstep after you've communicated your boundary. It's time to say, "If this continues, I won't engage in this conversation anymore." Consequences aren't about punishing others. They're about protecting yourself. Dr. Brené Brown explains that people who have the strongest boundaries are often the most compassionate.
Why?
Because they don't carry resentment. They're protecting their emotional space. Step 4. Expect pushback. Let's be real. Family members, especially toxic ones, aren't going to change overnight. You might hear things like, "But we're family," or "You're being too sensitive." But remember, standing up for yourself is not an act of selfishness. A study by Dr. Sherry Campbell shows that toxic family members often resist change because they benefit from the lack of boundaries. Stay strong. Over time, they'll adapt or they won't, and you'll know where you stand. Finally, step 5. Create emotional distance. This doesn't mean cutting off family entirely, but it does mean controlling how much access they have to your emotions. Limit your interactions if you have to. If you need space, take it. And if you've tried everything and they still won't respect your boundaries, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Remember, setting boundaries doesn't make you a bad family member. It makes you a healthy one. You're not responsible for how others react. You're responsible for your own well-being. So, take the steps we talked about today. Recognize the toxic behavior, communicate clearly, set consequences, expect pushback, and don't be afraid to create emotional distance when needed. If this video resonated with you, give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on maintaining healthy relationships and protecting your mental health. You've got this.